An old brothel turned saloon that holds the restless spirits of its former working girls and clientele, a cemetery whose dead wander amongst their gravestones after dark, and a ghost town where the tortured souls of mistreated workers still linger. Await on this journey through some of Alaska's most haunted places. Let's jump right in. Hey everybody, and welcome to Fright Night. In this episode, we'll be braving some of the most haunted places in Alaska, recognized for its vast and beautiful wilderness, for its abundant natural resources, rich culture, and historic landmarks. The Last Frontier also harbors some chilling classic ghost stories, old hill folk tales, and native legends older than the country itself. Are you sure you're ready for this one? Our first haunt has us cruising the Alaska Panhandle and having a drink at the iconic Red Onion Saloon. Nestled in the heart of Skagway, Alaska, the Red Onion Saloon stands as a relic of the Klondike Gold Rush, a time of fortune seekers, outlaws, and vice. Once a thriving brothel, it now operates as a restaurant and museum, preserving the saloon's colorful past. While visitors come for the history and drinks, many leave with chilling tales of ghostly encounters as its echoes of the past refuse to fade. Over the years, employees and guests alike have reported eerie experiences, from unexplained noises to full-bodied apparitions, reinforcing the Red Onion Saloon's reputation as one of Alaska's most haunted sites. Built in 1897, the Red Onion was a beacon of entertainment during the gold rush, offering weary miners food, drink, and companionship. The second floor, divided into small rooms known as cribs, housed the working girls who catered to the town's booming male population. With business flourishing, the saloon quickly became one of the most infamous establishments in Skagway. However, as the gold rush waned, so did the town's prosperity, and the Red Onion eventually ceased operations as a brothel, transitioning into a boarding house, bakery, and eventually the saloon and museum it is today. Yeah, some say that not all the Red Onion's former residents have moved on. The most well-known spirit lingering within the historic building is Diamond Lil, a former madam who once ruled the establishment with a sharp wit and an even sharper eye for business. Believed to have deeply loved the saloon in life, her presence is often felt in subtle ways, with employees reporting the unmistakable scent of lilac perfume drifting through empty rooms, while an unseen force has been known to straighten chairs and dust surfaces as if ensuring the place is kept in proper order. Some claim the ghost of Lil watches over staff, particularly the women, stepping in to protect them if the saloon's history is disrespected. Another lingering spirit is that of Lydia, a former working girl whose beauty and grace made her one of the most sought-after women in Skagway. However, her tragic fate remains a mystery. Some believe she succumbed to heartbreak, while others claim she took her own life after contracting an illness common to women in her line of work. Whatever the truth, Lydia's spirit is far from at peace. She appears as a young woman in a long, dark dress, her presence often accompanied by an overwhelming sense of sorrow. Unlike Diamond Lil, Lydia is said to be hostile toward men. On multiple occasions, male guests and employees have reported being pushed, scratched, or even locked inside rooms by an unseen force. The disturbances have been so intense at times that authorities have actually been called to investigate, only to witness Lydia's spectral form for mere seconds before she vanishes into thin air. The third most infamous ghost at the Red Onion Saloon is an unidentified male entity believed to have been a former client of the brothel. Unlike the other spirits, his presence is mischievous, if not outright aggressive. Employees have blamed him for stolen drinks, expensive meals that disappear without explanation, and important tools that go missing only to reappear in odd places. Guests have reported feeling a firm shove when no one else is nearby, and some claim to have seen a shadowy figure lurking in dark corners before fading into the walls. While his identity remains unknown, his disruptive antics suggest that he still enjoys causing trouble in the afterlife. For those who visit the Red Onion Saloon today, its haunted reputation only adds to its allure. Whether it's the lingering scent of lilacs, the chilling presence of Lydia, or the playful mischief of the bar's resident nameless specter, one thing is certain: history is very much alive within these walls, and those who dare to step inside might just find themselves in the company of the spirits who refuse to leave, forever bound to the saloon that once defined their lives. Our second haunt takes us a short skip to the south of our first, and has us touring Sitka's ever-famous Russian bishop house. Nestled in the heart of Sitka, Alaska, The Russian Bishop House stands as one of the last remaining examples of Russian colonial architecture in North America. Built in 1842 by the Russian-American Company, the house once served as the residence of the Russian Orthodox bishops overseeing the region's missions, and today it is a meticulously restored museum operated by the National Park Service, drawing visitors eager to explore its rich history and glimpse into Alaska's past. However, beyond its carefully preserved walls, an air of mystery lingers. Whispers of unexplained phenomena, ghostly figures, and eerie sounds have long surrounded the Russian Bishop House, making it not only a historical treasure but also one of the most haunted places in Alaska. The Russian presence in Sitka began in the late 1700s when fur traders, led by Alexandr Baranov, established a settlement in what was then Tlingit territory. The relationship between the Russian colonists and the indigenous Tlingit people was fraught with conflict, culminating in the Battle of Sitka in 1804. After the Russians gained control, Sitka became the capital of Russian America, and efforts to convert the Tlingit population to Orthodox Christianity intensified. The Russian Bishop House was built to serve as both a residence and a religious school, a place where new converts were instructed in the faith and the Russian way of life. Over the years, the house bore witness to countless tragedies. Disease brought by the colonists decimated the native population, families were torn apart, and the echoes of sorrow seemed to seep into the walls. Even after the United States purchased Alaska in 1867, the Russian Bishop House remained an important cultural and religious site. Yet, stories of hauntings began to surface, and those who spent time within its halls reported unsettling experiences. Visitors and staff alike have encountered inexplicable sounds, footsteps echoing down empty corridors, doors creaking open on their own, and faint whispers in Russian, and some claim to have seen the shadowy figure of a man dressed in traditional Orthodox clerical robes, silently watching from the upper floor before vanishing into thin air. Others describe the unsettling feeling of being followed, as if a presence is lingering just behind them as they explore the historic rooms. One of the site's most persistent legends is that of the Weeping Woman of the Bishop House. According to local lore, a Tlingit woman who had been forced to convert and live under the church's care still haunts the building, and visitors have reported hearing soft sobbing at night, sometimes accompanied by a fleeting glimpse of a woman in a dark shawl standing near the windows. Additionally, those who approach her report a sudden chill in the air before she disappears, leaving behind an overwhelming sense of sorrow. Another spine-tingling tale involves a ghostly choir. Staff members closing up the museum for the night have claimed to hear faint hymns drifting through the air despite the building being empty, and on more than one occasion, these eerie chants have grown louder before abruptly stopping, as if the spirits of long-departed worshippers were still conducting their sacred services in the afterlife. Perhaps the most unsettling encounters involve unseen phantom hands, and some visitors have reported feeling a light touch on their shoulders or backs only to turn around and find no one there. One particularly unnerving account comes from a maintenance worker who, while performing repairs in an upstairs room, felt an invisible force press against his chest, as though someone or something was trying to push him away. Beyond the house itself, the surrounding grounds hold their own mysteries. Strange orbs of light have been seen floating near the exterior at night, resembling flickering lanterns from another era. Some believe these ghost lights are the spirits of Russian settlers who never left, still wandering the grounds they once called home. Others claim to have encountered anomalous cold spots even in the warmth of summer, as if the past refuses to lie dormant. Despite the rumors of spirits still lingering, the Russian Bishop House remains an invaluable piece of history, offering a glimpse into a bygone era. Whether or not the stories of hauntings are true, the house continues to captivate those who visit, standing as a silent witness to centuries of change. And for those who walk its halls, history feels close enough to touch, perhaps even closer than one might expect. Our third haunt has us taking our first steps in the wilds of Alaska and braving the ghost town of Kennecott. Deep in the Alaskan backcountry, where the vast expanse of Wrangell St. Elias National Park stretches across the land, the deserted town of Kennecott remains a haunting relic of a bygone era. Once a bustling mining hub, today it stands preserved as a National Historic Landmark, drawing visitors eager to explore its deteriorating buildings and rusting equipment. And while this history is certainly etched into its fading structures, any claim that something unseen still lingers across the landscape. Whispers of the past drifting through the ex-community's abandoned corridors and near its silent tramways. Established in 1906, Kennecott rose around one of the richest copper deposits ever unearthed, and the remote location quickly developed into an industrial powerhouse, acting as home to nearly 600 people, including miners, engineers, and their families. The Kennecott Copper Corporation built an intricate network of processing mills, tram systems, and railway connections to transport the ore from rugged mountains to markets far away. With strict corporate oversight, the company dictated nearly every aspect of life in the settlement, ensuring continuous output and a workforce that was pretty much stuck there, spending their earnings back at company stores to survive. The grueling work extracted a heavy toll, with workers toiling long shifts underground, chipping away at the valuable rock in dangerous, dimly lit tunnels, and accidents and deaths were all too common, their tragic echoes seemingly imprinted upon the land. For just over 30 years, Kennecott's mines churned out copper that helped electrify America. But by 1939, the rich veins were exhausted and the company abruptly abandoned the site, following which, so did its populace, leaving behind a ghost town frozen in time. Once busy roads fell silent and the punishing Alaskan elements began reclaiming the deserted landscape, homes still contained remnants of daily life, tools lay where they were last used, and massive mills loomed over the valley like skeletal remnants of industry long forgotten. Today, many believe the spirits of those who toiled in Kennecott never truly departed, and visitors often report an eerie sensation of unseen eyes tracking their movements, particularly within the weathered remains of the processing mills. Shadows flit across empty doorways, and sudden bursts of cold air creep through rooms where no wind should reach. Photographs taken around the site have revealed mysterious orbs and hazy apparitions, leading some to speculate that unseen forces still wander the desolate ruins, while electrical anomalies are frequently noted, with cameras malfunctioning or batteries inexplicably draining in areas rumored to be particularly active. Among the most unsettling tales are those of phantom miners, glimpsed near the remnants of the old tram stations or wandering between the dilapidated buildings. The rhythmic clang of metal against rock has been heard echoing through the mountains, as though ghostly laborers refuse to lay down their tools, and others describe hearing disembodied voices like a murmuring just beyond earshot that vanishes into the wind. Whether these sounds are lingering echoes of history or something more otherworldly remains unknown. Additionally, some explorers claim to have witnessed transparent figures flickering through the ruins, appearing briefly before melting into the encroaching darkness. Campers who have spent the night near Kennecott tell of unsettling encounters as well. Some recount hearing scratching or thumps against their tents, while others awaken to the sight of shadowy silhouettes standing around their fires, watching in silence. The most unnerving stories come from those who have walked the remains of the old railway line and who have claimed to have felt an invisible presence pacing behind them, and a few brave souls who have stepped inside abandoned structures report hearing boots scuffing the wooden floors, doors creaking open as though unseen hands still move them, and a oppressive sense of unease has been noted by those who linger too long after sundown. Despite its ghostly reputation, Kennecott continues to attract those fascinated by its past. Now safeguarded as a historic landmark, it stands as both a monument to human ambition and a place where the line between history and the supernatural blurs. Those who wander through its desolate streets may find themselves asking, is something or someone still present just beyond the veil? As the frigid Alaskan wind weaves through the ruins of this once mighty community, it's easy to wonder if the spirits of Kennecott still linger, forever bound to the town they once called home, to the place that stole so many valuable years of their lives. And for those who listen carefully, perhaps the mountains will share their secrets, revealing a past that simply refuses to die. And on to number 4, which lands us just northeast of Anchorage and has us exploring the fabled spirit houses of the Eklutna village. Tucked away in the outskirts of Anchorage, Alaska, Eklutna village stands as both a historical landmark and a site of deep spiritual significance. Recognized today for its unique blend of Russian Orthodox and Dina Athabaskan traditions, this small settlement is one of the oldest continuously inhabited locations in the region. Incidentally, visitors come to see the famous Eklutna cemetery adorned with vibrant spirit houses, each a testament to a life once lived. But beyond the quiet beauty of these handcrafted memorials, many claim that something unseen lingers amongst the graves, lurking in the windswept trees and casting an eerie shadow over the land. Historically, the Dina Athabaskan people have lived in the region for centuries, their traditions interwoven with the land itself. Long before Russian missionaries arrived in the 1800s, the Dina honored their dead in a sacred way. It was believed that after death, a person's spirit wandered the earth for a time before moving on to the next world. For this reason, families built spirit houses over the graves of their loved ones, decorating them with personal belongings so the deceased could find comfort in the familiar while awaiting their final passage. Even after the introduction of Christianity, this practice persisted, blending indigenous beliefs with Orthodox customs. As time passed, Eklutna became a place where history and folklore intertwined, and the spirits of those buried in the cemetery are said to be particularly restless. Locals and visitors report hearing disembodied voices in the stillness of night, whispers carried on the wind, as if from another realm, while others describe strange lights moving between the graves, flickering in the darkness before vanishing into the mist. It is said that those who disrespect the graves or disturb the spirit houses invite misfortune upon themselves, as unseen hands push or scratch at those who fail to show proper reverence. Some stories tell of an apparition dressed in traditional Athabascan clothing, appearing near the cemetery's entrance before fading into the twilight. Others speak of shadowy figures that move silently through the trees, watching from a distance but never revealing themselves. And if you have even encountered cold, unseen presences that send shivers down their spines even on the warmest days. More unsettling still are the accounts of visitors experiencing visions and vivid dreams after spending time in Eklutna. Some claim to see glimpses of the past scenes of old Dina villages, Russian fur traders, and moments lost to time, and others describe turning for only seconds find objects moved, doors opening on their own, or hearing soft footsteps in empty rooms as though someone or something was wandering about just out of sight. One particularly chilling story comes from a traveler who visited Eklutna on a late autumn afternoon. As she wandered through the cemetery, she noticed a small, weathered spirit house with a carved wooden doll placed on top. Intrigued, she snapped a photo before moving on. Later that evening, while reviewing her pictures, she was shocked to see what appeared to be a translucent figure standing behind the grave, barely visible yet undeniably present. That night, she awoke to the sound of soft chanting in a language she did not understand, and the next morning, her phone, containing the eerie photograph, refused to turn on. Another tale comes from a group of hikers who camped near Eklutna Lake. They claim to have been awakened by the distant sound of drumming and rhythmic chanting. When they stepped outside their tent, the noises ceased instantly. However, as they scanned the darkness, they spotted glowing red eyes watching them from the tree line. The figures never approached, but the sense of unease was so intense that they packed up and left before dawn. The most unsettling legend is that of Eklutna's woman in white, a spirit said to roam the cemetery at night, her sorrowful cries carrying through the air. Described as a woman in a long white tattered dress with dark, hollow eyes, she is believed to be the ghost of someone who perished in the harsh winters long ago, and those who have seen her say she appears suddenly as if stepping out of thin air only to vanish the moment they turn away. Some also claim that those who see her suffer from nightmares for weeks afterward, as though she lingers in their subconscious long after their encounters. Regardless of the eerie experiences reported by many, Eklutna village remains a deeply sacred and respected place. It is a testament to the resilience of the Dina and the people, their traditions enduring through generations, and whether the spirits that roam here are simply figments of the imagination brought on by knowledge of the past or something more. Those who visit often leave with a newfound reverence for the history and mysteries woven into the land. For those who listen closely, perhaps the spirits of Eklutna still have stories to reveal uttered through the rustling of leaves and waiting just beyond the veil for the living to hear. Saving the scariest for last, our fifth and final haunt has us delving through the ruins of Whittier's infamous Buckner building. In the remote town of Whittier, Alaska, where towering mountains press against the deep, icy waters of the Prince William Sound, a colossal ruin stands as a grim monument to the past. The Buckner building, a massive decaying structure that once served as a self-sufficient military complex, now looms like a ghostly specter over the town. What was once a vibrant hub of Cold War-era activity has since become one of the most notorious abandoned sites in Alaska. While its crumbling walls and shattered windows paint a picture of desolation, the true horror of the Buckner building is said to lie within, where eerie whispers, shadowy figures, and unsettling encounters hint at a haunting presence that refuses to be forgotten. Constructed in the early 1950s by the U.S. military, the Buckner building was designed to be an impenetrable fortress, housing soldiers' families and vital operational centers in case of nuclear war. Dubbed the city under one roof, it contained everything from barracks and mess halls to a post office, bowling alley, movie theater, and even a small hospital. It was meant to provide complete self-sufficiency for its residents, shielding them from the harsh Alaskan elements and the looming threat of Cold War hostilities. However, despite its strategic design, the building was abandoned in the 1960s following the military's withdrawal from Whittier. Left to decay amid the relentless elements, the once thriving structure quickly became a ghost town of its own. Locals and daring explorers who have ventured into the abandoned structure describe an overwhelming sense of unease upon crossing its threshold. Many report hearing the unmistakable sound of footsteps echoing through the halls, despite the building being completely empty. Doors that should remain still in the stagnant air have been known to slam shut with deafening force, as if unseen hands are making their presence known. And others claim to hear low murmurs and whispers, sometimes in hushed conversations, other times in chilling laughter, despite being entirely alone. One of those persistent legends associated with the Buckner building is that of its lost soldier, a spirit said to haunt the property. Some believe he was a serviceman who met an untimely end within the building's walls, while others claim he was left behind during the evacuation, forced to endure the bitter Alaskan winters alone. Whatever the case, those who have encountered him describe seeing the fleeting image of a shadowy figure in fatigues, often standing at the end of a hallway before disappearing into the darkness, and by some accounts, visitors report feeling an unseen force brush past them or hearing the faint scuff of military boots in the silence. Perhaps the most disturbing stories come from those who have entered the basement levels where the building's small hospital was once located. Explorers recount seeing blood-red stains on the walls, though the source of these markings remains unknown. Some claim to have heard agonized moans emanating from empty rooms, while others describe the sensation of being watched by unseen eyes. One group of investigators even reported capturing a chilling EVP recording in this area, with a ghostly voice whispering the words, "Get out." Beyond human spirits, some believe the Buckner building harbors something even more sinister. Legends speak of shadowy creatures lurking in the stairwells, entities that are neither human nor entirely of this world. Witnesses describe them as dark, featureless shapes that skitter along the walls or loom in doorways, vanishing the moment they are confronted, and some speculate that these could be manifestations of residual energy, while others believe they are something far more malevolent. Adding to the eerie atmosphere, reports of ghostly lights appearing in the building's upper windows have persisted for decades. On multiple occasions, Whittier residents have spotted a dim glow emanating from rooms where there is no power, moving slowly as if someone or something is still inhabiting the space. Despite thorough searches, however, no logical explanation has ever been found. Even those who have only explored the perimeter of the Buckner building have experienced inexplicable phenomena. Some have reported hearing disembodied voices calling their names, while others claim to have seen figures peering from shattered windows, and a few have even felt the sudden, ice-cold grip of unseen hands tugging at their clothing, as if warning them to stay away. In addition to these chilling experiences, many visitors have described unusual temperature shifts inside the building. In some rooms, the air feels thick and stifling, only to become unbearably frigid moments later. Objects left undisturbed have reportedly moved on their own, from small tools and flashlights rolling across floors to entire doors creaking open without explanation. Some say that the Buckner building has a way of playing tricks on the mind, with some explorers entering a room only to find the layout seemingly changed when they try to leave. Another eerie phenomenon is the sensation of phantom touches. Several visitors have spoken of feeling something graze their skin, as if invisible fingers were reaching out from the past. Others have felt their hair suddenly pulled or an unseen force pressing against their shoulders, sending shivers down their spine. There are also reports of muffled cries and distant sobs that seem to drift through the building late at night. Some believe these sounds belong to the spirits of those who suffered in the isolated corridors, while others theorize they could be residual echoes of past trauma replaying over and over again. One particularly unsettling account tells of a group of explorers who distinctly heard the sound of a child's laughter emanating from the darkness, only to find no trace of anyone else in the building. Now, skeptics argue that the eerie sounds and unsettling sensations can be attributed to the building's deteriorating state and the natural creaks of aging infrastructure. The sheer volume of reports suggests something far stranger at play. Whether one believes in the supernatural or not, there is no denying the oppressive atmosphere that hangs over the Buckner building. Its towering frame, riddled with decay and history, stands as a reminder that some places refuse to be quieted by time. For those brave enough to venture inside, the Buckner building offers more than just an abandoned and weathered ruin of the past. It offers a glimpse into the otherworldly, where the echoes of history may not be as silent as they should be. Thanks for joining me on this adventure through some of Alaska's most haunted places. If you enjoyed hearing my histories and ghost stories, subscribe to my channel, throw this upload a like, and share me with anyone you think could use a good scare. I'll see y'all next time, and stay spooky.